All right, Will, what do we got?
Well, like we were talking about earlier, and I think we should bring it to the pod, marketing launches or launches in general going wrong. Is it good for business, bad for business, done intentionally?
Yeah, it made me think, I actually posted this on my LinkedIn and got a lot of pickup and a lot of colleagues kind of chiming in. I think it was a great thing for Disney Plus that it crashed. And it almost begs the question, was it done on purpose? And should that be something that is calculated in order to build more brand awareness about a launch or about a brand? I mean, there was articles everywhere. CNN, MSNBC, Variety, Deadline, Disney launches and then crashes. Obviously, Disney is a huge brand and there's always going to be eyeballs on everything that they do. But not everybody knew that Disney Plus was launching that day. You may have forgotten about it. You may have heard from a friend that it's coming sometime around the holidays. And I bet that you saw, or people around the water cooler said, yeah, I heard it launched. And then people were angry because they crashed. And I mean, I think it just begs the question. I think this is not even a question. That helped Disney Plus get out to more people and more subscribers. They said they got 10 million signups, within that first few days type deal, and their stock rose 7% after that. But there's no doubt that helps, as long as it's not like you crashed and you don't come back online for a week. Obviously, you're going to have a little bit of customers that are irritated about not being able to access the content. But as long as you revert course and you correct that within 24 hours or so, I think the customer dissatisfaction is worth the free earned media value that you get because of those headlines. So I think, I don't think they did it on purpose, but if they did, they're brilliant. And even though they didn't, they still got a lot of pickup.
Is there a small part of you, though, that thinks in these meetings, they say, okay, we're going to launch at midnight, and at 9 a.m., we'd also like you to release an article that says Disney Plus is having problems or whatever.
Yeah, just tell the engineers, turn the service off for 2 hours and just
sounds pretty complex.
Let's get the tweets going and get people out there and get that free brand awareness. And listen, I mean, I was even thinking, and we were racking our brain. Remember Tidal? Jay-Z's streaming service that obviously did not perform that well, but he launched his album, exclusively on Tidal, and the app crashed almost immediately. And people were on Twitter and articles were written, and it begged the question, did that help them short term to say, yeah, I heard Jay-Z launched an album on some type of streaming thing called Tidal and it didn't work out well, so I think that's another example, right, of that actually potentially getting more eyeballs on a product that may not have the eyeballs that they wanted in the first place.
Or are we just way overthinking this and they just don't realize or don't prepare for, or even have the capacity for the bandwidth that all comes in, at one exact minute, a huge spike where you're not ready for it?
Yeah, no, that definitely happens. It happened with Bleacher Report Live. It happened with Tidal. It probably most likely happened with Disney Plus. But what I'm saying is they kind of stumbled into this really good thing from a PR and marketing standpoint. I mean, we've talked about Steve Harvey saying the wrong name at Miss Universe. A lot of people didn't care about Miss Universe, and they were reintroduced to that show and to the fact that Steve Harvey hosted it and tuned in the very next year to see if Steve Harvey was going to potentially screw up again. So I think there's moments where this just happens accidentally that I think actually helps. So it begs the question, should we as marketers start thinking about ways we can do this? We work with Turner on the SAG Awards every year. Should we say that Snooki is hosting the SAG Awards this year, or Carrot Top? I know Josh Baird and Dan Cho would kill me if I pitched that in a meeting probably, but honestly, can you get some fun PR and some fun people, and then kind of reverse course and say, we were just kidding, here's who the real host is. So I think from a marketing standpoint, some of those shocking upsets in the beginning may end up being your best brand awareness.
Yeah, that just happened recently with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I don't remember the studio, but basically the story is that 6 months ago, they released a trailer for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. The CGI Sonic did not look good. It did not look like the Sonic that people know and love and grew up with.
Yeah.
So there was backlash.
And you were talking about that too. That was done on purpose. There's no way they went back in and re-CGI'd the entire movie. It seems like they did it on purpose to get
it's a popular
more exposure.
Theory.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of comments on Twitter now under the new trailer, like, wow, the studio listened to us. They care. I'm going to go see this because the studio took our feedback to heart.
I'm telling you, perception is reality, man. Yeah, so I do think, I know for me anyway, it begs the question, are some of those PR blunders done on purpose? And if not, should we be thinking more of that? Not to be facetious in a wrong way, but there is such thing. I mean, I think as getting free publicity, and there is a lot of people that say there is no such thing as bad publicity. So when Disney Plus happened, I think it was a positive for them because they were able to correct course pretty quickly and get back online. Very interesting to say the least. Would love to hear from you guys. Make sure to, I guess, is this an in-between episode? Is that what we're calling it? A bonus episode?
Yeah, some kind of Thanksgiving holdover episode.
Yeah, it's like just to get you guys' mind thinking. I think the next time you're pitching ideas, like, is there a way that we can have a fun announcement and then follow? And I always thought too, Will, is like, let's say my example of saying, Snooki is the host of, some big award show or something. To almost do a documentary that you can release. And this happened with Phil Jackson. If you remember, when Phil Jackson, the best coach of all time in the NBA, he won how many? 11 championships as a head coach, 6 with the Bulls, 5 with the Lakers.
I think 1 as a player too.
Yeah, he joined Twitter. And if you remember correctly, his first tweet had a bunch of misspellings in it. And everybody retweeted it, and they said Phil's getting old, and he must have not had his reading glasses and all these things. And then his second tweet was a video of him tweeting said tweet with all 11 championship rings on. He couldn't type correctly because he had all the rings on. And you could look that up, but that was absolutely a stunt where he got roasted. But they filmed a documentary in the background, or not a documentary, but a video that they were going to release, like, haha, we were just joking. Same thing, Anthony Davis recently, for some campaign, said, he shaved his eyebrow finally. Here's unibrow. He finally shaved it, and then it all ended up being a stunt for a new razor or something like that. So you talk about all the time, PR stunts, marketing stunts, and this begs the question. Some of this stuff that people just roll into and don't even mean to do, I think ends up being successful and gets them some great publicity. All right, well, we hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving week. I know the industry kind of shuts down. I will say emails slow down to a halt, which I think we all deserve, right? Get a little time off, cut the digital leash, but we always appreciate you guys listening. As always, we really appreciate if you go to iTunes and rate us 5 stars. I mean, producer Will, that's how he really finds impact in his life, is by the stars we get on iTunes. So
that's all I have. So please,
it's really how he validates his self-worth. So if you're not doing that, I could care less, but producer Will, do this guy a favor. He works hard on the show, as does David Furker, as does Dylan Mooney. We appreciate them as always. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, all that fun stuff. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving weekend. As always, this is a Business of Social podcast powered by STN Digital. I'm David Brickley.